page and share it because I have a special guest. I have a special guest. I want you to like this page and share it. And one of the things that people are experiencing right now, doing a whole
Yes.
lot of things, and being able to integrate those things in a way that they have balance in their personal life, their professional lives, the things that they want to do in terms of family, the things they want to do
Yeah.
in terms of their community service. A lot of people are helping out a lot of other people who experiencing a great deal of hardship right now. I talked to a friend today and she delivers meals. She just cooks and she loves to cook and
Praise God.
she does what she calls drive-bys. That's
Aw.
Reese out of Columbus, Ohio, and she'd drive by and give people meals that she's cooked. And they're real good, very tasty. I
Good.
know her food as well. So
Yeah.
we have someone now who this person, she is a wife and a mother, an entrepreneur, and a very good friend. And she helped people, everyday people, begin to create balance in their
Thank you,
personal and
Jesus.
professional lives.
Yes.
Hello, how are you?
I'm
And
great.
is Dr. Balance, Kim Jacobs. Hello, how are you?
How are you, Les? I'm so glad to be here today.
Thank you. How's my goddaughter doing?
Oh, she's doing amazingly well. She's into animating things from scratch right now. So she does a lot of animations on her YouTube channel. And literally, it starts with a blank canvas and then she draws it and turns it into something magnificent. So she's utilizing her gifts and talents, that's for sure.
And my godson?
He's doing well also. Jeremiah is into acting right now. He wants to be the first Black Spider-Man, Miles Morales.
Yeah.
And I have like images and everything of him taking the pictures, and he can do it. He's been like working out and getting that 6-pack. So he's gonna do some serious work in the acting world.
You want to be Spider-Man.
He
All
wants to
right.
be Black Spider-Man. Yes.
Black
Oh, that's him right
Spider-Man.
there, Les.
I got him. All right. Yes. Oh, hey, he's ready to climb some buildings.
You can't tell Jeremiah nothing, literally.
No, he's in his own world. He wants to meet Tyler Perry too, and we're going to set that up.
Yes.
I want to ask you, when you think about the work that you do and helping people to create balance, what was the experience that you came to and say, you know what, this is something that I need in my own life, and I want to share with others?
Wow. You know what? That's a great question already, Les, because what happened in my life was that growing up, I was surrounded by so many different circumstances and situations, and the environment itself was just extremely overwhelming. I don't even know how to word it differently than living at a place that the locals in Newport News, Virginia called the bottom. So everybody knew that where I lived, it was called the bottom, and that the grocery stores that I shopped in were called below. And when you're growing up in an environment where you live at the bottom and you shop at below, you don't really always look at it like there's light at the end of the tunnel. It can seem kind of bleak, if that makes sense,
Yes.
And so as I went through my life, I realized, because my mom instilled in me, that no matter where I live, no matter what my circumstances were, no matter what my conditioning was, I could be anything that I want to become in life. And she made me believe that. So I was in pageants and, or you name it, I was in all of these different things because she instilled that belief in me early on. And what happened, Les, is that as life was going on, adults would start asking me questions. And I was like, you're the adult. I don't know that. I don't have a clue. I'm a child. So how am I going to give you advice when you're the adult? And I realized at an early age that there was something different about me. I just didn't necessarily know what it was. And so I was like, there's something that these people keep seeking advice for me about, but I didn't know what that was going to turn into ultimately. But I used to mute the television less. And as a teenager, I would mute the television, turn on closed captioning. And I was totally just joking around back in the day. And I would turn on the television, read closed captioning, and Oprah and Phil Donahue would be on. And I would be like, yes, welcome to the stage, my girlfriend Gail today. And I would just read everything that Oprah said. I would say it too. And I would say it with the same emphasis that she would put on it and with the same like aura. It's like, you mean to tell me that you don't think that that's wrong? I would get dramatic with it, Les, right? And had no idea that back then I would ultimately become who I am today. And so ultimately, the whole balance doctor thing became because of all of the hats that I started wearing, the roles, the responsibilities, and people asking for advice about those specific types of things.
Well, you're a true example of act the way you want to be, and soon you'll be the way you act. So let's go through. We've known each other for a long time. Let's look at some of these pictures that we have. We have history up in here, up in here.
Yes.
You're a host of a television show, of your internet show, and you used to have a television show. You're involved in ministry. There's my goddaughter Jayla. She's powerful. Boy, she's a little powerful woman. Tell everybody about Jayla.
Yes, Jayla. First of all, Jayla, so honored to be your goddaughter. And the thing is with Jayla, we didn't know less. Well, you know, because you went on this whole journey with us and she was a newborn child, but we didn't know why she was projectile vomiting like 8 to 10 times a day. We didn't know what was going on, but we knew that something was happening to the point where we would eventually not have her on this earth with us. And so at the age of 5, which you already are aware, at the age of 5, she got pneumonia, very bad pneumonia, and was put into Levine's Children's Hospital. And they diagnosed her with something that I had never even heard of, Les. They said she had permanent lung damage and it was
Mhm.
irreversible, and that it was no way that they could ever replace that piece of her lung that had been damaged. And they called it cystic fibrosis. And
Mhm.
so cystic fibrosis is a life-altering, so-called life-limiting, and I don't say it in a mocking way, but I just I believe that all things are possible through God. So she doesn't have limitations on her life. It's what I really believe. But she
Mhm.
has this so-called life-altering disease called cystic fibrosis, where you get really sticky mucus that lines the lining of your lungs, and it prevents you from ultimately kind of being able to breathe properly. Hence,
Yes.
that's where the problem comes in. So, but she is a warrior, and since we've had that diagnosis since she was the age of 5, she's been talking to people, inspiring people, motivating people to say, "Hey, if I can do it, you can do it." And she got that from, I think, you, her godfather, and her godmother over there. You know.
That is great. So, but you have tell us about your other children.
Yeah, so I have 5 children. Frank and I have 5 children. Jeremiah, I'll tell you about him. He
Mhm.
also has been diagnosed with cystic fibrosis. And that came at the age of 13 for him, because this is something that's typically diagnosed at birth. And that people usually are male Caucasians that get diagnosed with cystic fibrosis. Well, Jeremiah got diagnosed at the age of 13, and what it's done for him, Les, is it's really pushed him to higher heights, because he feels like, I am going to be unstoppable. He wants to be the first African American actor with this disease, and to just really catapult himself to the next level and let people know that there are no limitations to what you can do, even though some society says you have this particular disease. So that's some of his acting shots that you saw there. And he's
Mhm.
now 15 years old, and he
Mhm.
is rocking and rolling and on his way to becoming a formal actor. And so he takes different roles, and he's looking for extra roles and all kinds of opportunities from his acting perspective. Then the next child that you just saw there is Ivan Jacobs. Now you see him on the cover of Boomer Esiason Team Boomers magazine, and Team Boomer is actually doing they have a warrior award that they give out once a month. And that's Boomer Esiason from ESPN, right? So they selected this young man. And why did they select him, Les? Because Ivan, at the age of 18 years old, was also diagnosed with cystic fibrosis.
Mm.
And now the only reason that we even found out that Ivan has cystic fibrosis is because he was cramping a lot playing football and had to keep going to the emergency room. And we were like, what is this? So a group of specialists came together and they said something's going on that's in his system that they don't know what's happening. He was getting salt depleted, Les.
Mm.
And so the salt depletion would cause him to go into some significant cramping and muscle spasms. Ultimately, they did a test because Jayla had cystic fibrosis. They ended up testing our whole family, basically. They were like, okay, something's going on here. And found out that Ivan has CF as well. But Ivan has now lost 65 pounds, and he's done it intentionally. He does 75 hard and all of these challenges because he wants to be the first African American NFL player with cystic fibrosis. And there are none. There are none.
Wow.
But there is going to be one, Ivan Jacobs. So my children are on a mission, Les.
I know it. I know that they're serious and driven, and purpose is all over them.
Yeah.
Tell us about the rest.
So I also have Frank Jr., and he's kind of like a Bill Gates kind of, he's like a Tyler Perry. That whole billionaire mindset is what he is. He's a young man that at the age of 18 years old, he had a whole business concept, and he started his business with less than $100, just $100. He started a business online and decided that he wanted to flip the business. Well, I was like, well, who are you going to flip it to? I'm old school. I'm like, who are you going to flip it to? It's still all this online stuff. He told me the person's name. I did research, and it was a partner in a hedge fund, Les. And guess what? He flipped the business, earned like over 6 figures or something. It was crazy. The business, it was a legitimate transaction, and he flipped the business. So Frankie is a mastermind, is the best word that I could think to say about my 23-year-old son. He has online business ventures that he does, and he is wildly successful at everything that he touches. And that's
what about the foundation?
So I'd save Gabe for last because I was like, Lord, let me have my little cloth because I don't want to get too dramatic. But I have my son Gabriel, and one of our final family pictures, which Tola, you would have that as well. One of our final family pictures that we took was when 1 month before Gabriel transitioned to be home with the Lord. Gabriel, at the age of 12 years old, the crazy part is he was just playing a game of basketball with my husband and our sons, and we had just got a new basketball hoop. And the very first time that they played this game of basketball, on that one day, he collapsed. And and he collapsed, and we didn't know he was the healthiest in our entire family, Les. So we didn't have any expectation that anything would ever be wrong or anything. So we had no idea that anything was a problem. But later we discovered that he had an unknown heart defect, and that's what caused him to be able to transition home. But he's not lost, and I want to keep the energy going in a positive manner. Gabe is not lost. He just lives in a new address, and it was challenging to let him go and relocate, right?
Yeah.
He had to go relocate, but he had to go relocate to heaven, and that's where he resides. But he's still my son, and I'm writing a book entitled that. He's still my son, and I think it's so important that people know that when you have children and one of them transition home, doesn't mean that he's not a part of everything we do. He still celebrates. He's just one of my cloud of witnesses from heaven.
Yes, and you do that so extremely well.
So we started that foundation. I meant to say that the Gabe's Heart Foundation.
Yeah, Gabe'sHeartFoundation.org. What's the purpose of the foundation?
The purpose of the foundation, Les, is to do random acts of kindness. And so what we do is we go out into the community, and it can be in any area throughout the country. We do what we call doing it Gabe's way, random acts of kindness. And we pay for groceries, we pay for gas, we give clothing, and go to homeless shelters. We go to Ronald McDonald House and different places and clean the facilities and takes teams of people with us. We'll go to domestic violence shelter and private safe homes and take food and take funding. We do go to homeless, you name it, we pretty much do it, but we do what we call doing it Gabe's way. We pump gas and give like $10, $20 worth of gas to unlimited amounts of cars based on whatever donations we receive. We do uniforms, all kinds of things to help with those that are in need.
Thank you. Fantastic. You're doing a lot of good work. You're doing the greater work. Tell us about your show and the objective of that show that you have that's on the internet, and you have over 1,000 subscribers.
Yes, that just happened today. Actually, I'm so excited.
Yes.
Okay, so literally, we have a show called The Kim Jacobs Show, and it's across 8 different platforms. We have about 20,000 viewers. That, yes, The Kim Jacobs Show. Okay, so the show, Les, what we do is it's our desire to provide balance to the world, one household at a time. And the way that we do that is we bring guests on the show that have overcome things and have overcome obstacles in their own lives. They may be balancing or managing and juggling different things, and they're trying to figure out, how do I manage this thing called life without getting off kilter or overwhelmed or stressed out or at my wits' end. We provide pieces of the missing puzzle to somebody else's life. So whatever viewer is watching the show, they're going to see a guest that come on that show that's going to help them be able to manage this thing called life just a little bit smoother.
Let's buckle down on balance.
Yes.
Talk to us about how important it is, and what are some of the things that one can do to create balance in their lives.
You know, Les, I actually wrote a book called Extreme Balance Makeover. And in my book, I had a whole different philosophy because I was younger and I was given very practical steps, like, making sure you manage your to-do list and making sure you prioritize and all of those things, which are extremely important things. One thing I'll tell you, and this is something that people can do, is in this book here, and this is something you can put on a blank sheet of paper. It doesn't matter about the book, just get it on a blank sheet of paper. We all have 100% of time, right? Just 100%.
Yes, right.
Put a pie chart with a little pinwheel and put percentages of time that you can devote or designate to each thing in your life. Compartmentalize that thing. Because it's not possible for you to give 100% in one area, 100% in another area. That's not possible. So you're going to be able to determine that I can do this much time in ministry. I can just do this much time with family activities, this much time with my work and professional associations. You have to be able to bucket the things and manage the life that God has given you. My philosophy, Les, just so you know, is that, and this is a book I'm in the process of writing right now, I already finalized the manuscript, is that we need to recognize that we're balancing life God's way. And then when we do it that way, it's very different than just balancing life.
What does that mean?
What it means to me,
And
Les,
what does it look like?
what it looks like for me, and I can only speak for myself, and it's worked very well for me, especially when life has become
You can't
overwhelming.
speak for anybody else but yourself. Go ahead.
Right.
Bring it, my sister.
So the thing is, what it means to me is that, am I really out of balance or out of sync when I'm going through some different trials and tribulations in my life, right? The answer is no. It may not be out of balance or out of sync at all. It may be that I'm just officially, and it is, that I'm officially in a season that God may have me in my life. So each of us go through different seasons of our lives. In the book, and we know in the Word of God, and everybody believes different things. So whatever you believe, hang your soul on that and believe that, and no, nothing. Do whatever. I believe in the Word of God, so I talk about it from that perspective for myself. And there are different times and seasons that happen in my life. Some of them are more extreme than others. So when I'm going through a difficult time or a different season in my life, I still need to be able to know that God is still with me on the journey. And it doesn't mean that I'm out of sync and that I'm out of step or out of alignment with what his will is for my life. It's just something that's happening at this particular season in my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And so I look at balance as, if I'm balancing life, knowing that I've already declared what I profess to be the case, that I have my Lord and Savior leading and guiding me in every direction, in every step of my life, then am I out of balance? No, I'm not out of balance. I'm completely in alignment with his will for my life. But to the outside public, it may look like I'm having some difficulties, that they're like, what's going on in her life? Whatever's going in my life or in your life is still for your good some kind of way, because he already knows the plans that he has for my life.
So when I wake up in the morning, I say, all things work together for good for those who love God and for those who are called according to his purpose. I want to
Yeah.
ask you, and I want to circle back to talk about Gabe. What would you say to a family, a parent, father, mother, the family members, when you lose someone that you love? The process that you and Frank went through to heal and to begin to put that in proper perspective so that you don't focus on the loss, you focus on the gift that his life has been. And because of the way in which you're moving forward,
Right.
since his transition, he's a gift that keeps on giving.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yeah.
what do you say to people? Because over a half a million people have lost loved ones
Yes.
from the coronavirus. There's a lot of pain and a lot of grief that's impacting people's lives nationally and globally.
That's
What would
right.
you say to people that's dealing with that? Because you've dealt with this in a way that I've never seen anyone deal with it before. You took this pain and you converted it into a purpose that will enhance and enrich and transform others. So, how do you get there? Did you have some moments where you did not have that kind of clarity of mind and connect with your personal spiritual strength to be able to look beyond your own grief and
Yeah.
begin to help others and turn your pain into purpose?
Wow. Yeah. Yes. Yes, 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 yes to everything you said. First of all, my condolences to every person that has had their family members transition to leave this earth. Over 500,000 people, as you've said, even those with the Texas storms, definitely at least 80 people have passed away in that situation. It's a lot of tragedy across the land. And Les, what I'll share with you is that the day before Gabe passed away, it was Wednesday, April 8th. It was a Bible study that was happening at our church. And the topic was suicide.
Mm,
And when we talked about that, about suicide, I, as the pastor's wife, I raised my hand and I told everyone, and I stood boldly in what I was saying. I said,
hmm.
listen, if anybody ever tells you that I committed suicide, y'all better do a deep dive investigation because I would not kill myself. Okay.
Yes.
This is what I said, Les. And I
Hmm.
meant it. And I meant it with everything within me. And I wasn't saying it in a derogatory way to anybody else, but I wanted to inspire people to know that we all have something that we can live for on this earth, right? And
Yeah.
God has something that He has purposed and given exclusively to us to accomplish on this earth. And so
Yeah.
the whole world misses out if we don't do what we're supposed to be doing. So
Hmm.
when I talked from that perspective, I had no idea that the next day, by that same time of the Bible study, that my son would be taking his last breath and not be with me anymore on this earth. And so when you ask about moments, that
Hmm.
moment in time, and I can only tell you what was happening at that time. I lost a shoe. I lots of things happened that I can't even remember. I don't remember. I have no clue who was at the homegoing celebration at all, unless somebody tells me, Kim, I came and supported your son's homegoing. I just don't have a clue who was
Hmm.
there because it was such a fog for me. But I was so grateful. Don't get me wrong. So grateful for every person that took the time. There were over 1,000 people in attendance. Over 100 young people accepted Christ as their savior on that day. Lots of positives have come from Gabe's transition to going home. But for me, yes,
Hmm.
there were many moments to answer your direct question. I've been on the bathroom floor, crying uncontrollably with everything leaving me, everything. And I met with my family and I let them all know that if I pass away, I had a family meeting and said, if I pass away anytime soon, I died of a broken heart.
Mm.
I died of a broken heart. And I knew that that's why I died. And I wanted my entire family and my friends, my closest friends, to know that if I passed, I didn't pass from a heart attack. I didn't pass from whatever. I passed because my heart was broken to pieces because my child was no longer going to be here on this earth with me. So I'll say less that there are so many things. Like, I could be in a room over the course of time and it could be filled with people, and I could feel like I'm just in a room by myself.
Yes.
I can feel like so many different things that I felt, but let me try and tell you more the positives here. We surrounded ourselves with our church family and our loved ones and our friends, and we did not push people away. We let people in. So I think that's something that I would advise if I'm advising another parent that may be experiencing something like this. Don't push people away. Be be considerate of the fact, even though we need to be considerate because we're the ones going through this, but be considerate of the fact that when people say and do things, sometimes they don't know what they say. They don't even
Yeah.
know because they don't know. They don't know not to know. They just think they're helping. Like, for example, oh, you'll get past this. This too shall pass, and it's gonna get on back. About you're gonna get to moving on, and God could bless you with another one, and all of this stuff. You're like, I don't want this to pass, and I don't want any parts of anything that says my son is no longer a part of the equation.
Yes.
So my advice to people is, if you can start a foundation on behalf of your child, definitely do it, because the more you do something for others on behalf of your child, it will just give you it. Like, I constantly feel like Gabe's heart is beating and that he's smiling from heaven. I feel that way automatically
Yes. Oh,
every time I do a
I can
random act
tell
of
the way
kindness.
that you show up and the things that you are doing to help thousands of people, and you've been very helpful to me. Tell us about your show and how people can see it, and also how they can become a subscriber for your YouTube.
Yes, yes. Okay, so the Kim Jacobs Show airs Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it airs across various platforms. You can see it on Periscope, you can see it on Twitch, you can see it on Facebook, multiple Facebook channels over there, YouTube as well. But I would love for you to be able to subscribe by going right to our YouTube channel and hitting that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. And people like Les Brown have been a guest on the show, as well as all types of everyday people that have genuine stories that are making a difference, and people that have experienced some significant hardships in their lives and have overcome some tremendous things to become who they are today. So you can go to Kim Jacobs Show, right? The Kim Jacobs Show, right on YouTube. Now, my hair is bigger on the YouTube page, so don't
Yeah.
be like, oh, that's not her. Yes, it is. It's me. I went on a natural journey with my daughter. So
Oh,
go right over there to YouTube and subscribe and turn on your notifications.
yeah. You had my daughter, Reverend Serena
I had she's
Brown
the best.
Travis. Yes, you guys had a great time together. I'm going to play that show on my Facebook. All right, and we got to work something out where we can connect your Facebook with my Facebook so people can also see your show on a daily basis, because it's making a difference in people's lives. People need to watch something that will lift their spirits and make them feel good, and give them a sense of wherewithal that, hey, I could make it through what I'm facing right now. Do
Yeah.
you have any particular products that people can order?
Absolutely, Mr. Leslie Brown, Calvin Brown. I will be sending you this. This is I Watch the Kim Jacobs Show. So
Uh-huh.
you have mugs, and we have T-shirts and all kinds, some books as well. So I have a book that I'm a collaborating author called "This Is How I Fight My Battles," because we all go through battles,
Yeah,
and this is how we fight them in the spirit realm. Extreme Balance Makeover is on there. And
yes,
then I also have Women of War, Peace in the Midst of the Storm. So we have books, mugs, and t-shirts right at kimjacobshow.com. And if people are interested less in actually taking a course, are we going to talk about that course later at some
I
point?
want to, well, no, not later. We're going to do it now, but I also want to know, before we get to the course, the how, if they would like to be a guest on your show, what should they do?
Yes, they can email Kim at thebalancedoctor.tv, or
Hmm.
I can also put another email, which I have my team check. They'll be like, we don't know why you're telling people to go there and then Let me, you know how
Yeah,
you
I
have your team and they're
mention
like,
that
what?
because there's so many entrepreneurs out here who need to have exposure with their products. And many of the speakers that I trained, and so I'm going to be sending them to you. They need to get a hookup with you and your show so they can get exposure because you have good views and people respond. And
Yeah.
so my goal is to leverage my name, my contacts to
Oh,
help
thanks.
people to live their dreams. So tell people how they, oh, you got it on the screen, how they get in touch with you if they're interested in being on the show.
Yes, so it's Kim at thebalancedoctor.tv. If you email me and let me know that you're interested, we'll have our team respond back to you and hear your story and see if it obviously would be a fit for the program. And then you can also email kimjacobsshow@gmail.com and my team will get that particular email as well. kimjacobsshow@gmail.com or Kim at thebalancedoctor.tv and we'll follow back up with you.
Okay, now let's go to the next piece we were just talking about.
Look, I'm used to being a host over here, Les. So I'm like,
Yeah,
hey, what segment does that? You're
yeah,
like, girl, sit back and relax. You the guest today.
yes. So, yeah, so what's the next thing you'd like to talk about?
Well, first of all, I'd like to, before I transition to any of that, I would like to talk about the fact that you have made such a tremendous impact on my life. And for those of you that are watching here on the Les Brown platform, there are so many horror stories about people in society, and I'm serious. I mean, it's some well-known celebrities worldwide, and they have bad raps, unfortunately. And I just want to stand to share a testimony that I met Les Brown when I was 24 years old, and I very young. My husband and I were in the pharmaceutical industry, and I literally met him at an event and he said, hey, why don't you come on with me and I'll teach you what I know. I hopped in the car with Les Brown and just went off for the entire day and well into the night, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning type of thing. And guess what? I want to make sure that this is formally documented. He never, ever did anything to do anything inappropriate. And what a blessing that is for someone to be able to say on behalf of an international celebrity that Leslie Calvin Brown, a man of honor and integrity. And I'm not his daughter. So he could have easily just been like, well, hey, here's what you got to do or whatever. No, he embraced me and took me on as like a spiritual father type of figure. And he has been nothing but honorable and nothing but a great gentleman along my journey. And working under your leadership, I've learned so much less. And I just want to say thank you on your own platform for being a man of honor and integrity.
Well,
Okay,
yeah,
carry on.
yeah. All right. Thank you so much. You're very kind. You have a wonderful husband as a pastor, but let's look at some of the things we have done together. Let's bring those slides up. She's an entrepreneur, and so we did some joint ventures together. And it was it was very, yeah, now that's when I could not find a Walgreens to get me some mascara to cover that gray.
That's hilarious. Yeah, Les
Yeah,
likes to wear his mascara, but I think he
yeah.
looks very
My
distinguished.
kids say, "You look distinguished." I said, "I'm not trying to look distinguished. I want to look young." All right, let's go to our event. Look at one of the seminars that we did together. Told, I don't know what made you bring that up, but
Yeah, he's like, I told you, of all the
thank
pictures.
you
Can you
about
see
that.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah, actually, Les Brown came and he spoke at our church in the Charlotte area and did a whole program teaching people about the millionaire mindset. And so it was lots of people in attendance that wanted to learn how to just improve their overall. It all begins in the mind. And you taught us that we have greatness within us, Les, but you wanted us to each understand how to go about tapping into that greatness. And then we
yeah,
also did something too, Tola, that you could put up. When I first started, I was traveling with the American Seminar Leaders Association as their youngest national training director. And I just veered off and said, I'm with Les Brown, and started traveling with him. We went on an
yeah,
international tour, city by city, and we started teaching people how to start and succeed in the seminar business. So we have that. We have some of those. They were CDs back in the day. So I
yeah.
do have some of those CDs if anybody
You
ever
do?
wants to.
I
get some
don't have
coffee.
any of those. Please have them converted, please, so you can send them to me. All right.
All right, because you have some great points on there, even way back in the day, how to start and succeed in the seminar business. And I was
Yeah,
in my 20s, and I don't know what age you were there, but
we were a
weren't.
lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is a time where friendship is very important. How
Yeah.
long have we known each other now?
Yes, we've known each other since I was 24 years old. I'm 50 now, Les. I am 50
Wow.
years old.
I just turned 76, as you know.
I know.
Yes, and I'm glad to be here.
It's an
So,
honor.
yeah, what's the major project that you want to achieve this year?
Well, this year, what I'm working on is teaching other people less how to officially create their own shows from scratch. I've been getting so many calls and emails and inboxes about, hey, Kim, I want to start my own show. How do I go about doing it? So I created an 8-week online class that teaches people they can work at their own pace, how to actually start your own show from scratch. Everything you need to know. I mean, things like how to make sure that you identify your right studio audience. How do you connect with your studio audience? How do you make sure that you get your lighting and your camera shots right? And what equipment do you use? What platform do you use? How are you going to make sure that that you're cute when you're going live, so that you look the way you want to look, and lights hitting you at a nice little natural glow and all that good stuff. So you
Yeah.
learn so many things during this 8-week course. And some people work with me one-on-one. So I do 4 1-hour coaching sessions. And all of that is outlined right at kimjacobsconsulting.com. And the whole program is laid out. And not only are talk show hosts reaching out, you have professors, you also have people that are attorneys. I have multiple clients that are entrepreneurs, and they're all reaching out too, because they're doing these various presentations and online speaking engagements. So it's been a lot of fun, Les. Lots of fun.
Yeah, it most certainly. And she is powerful and a great instructor, a great example. And she makes it lively and a lot of fun, a learning process that you get the skill set for this new place, this new shift in the economy, where we're going from brick and mortar to click and order. And she will teach you how to set up your operation from A to Z. She's a one stop. Let the record show. And so you can go to kimjacobsconsulting.com. That's kimjacobsconsulting.com. I just want to thank you, and please tell my goddaughter and my godson that I love them. And I want to thank you and appreciate you for the friend that you've been to me, and a spiritual teacher, and how you've been so helpful to me and to my family and to my daughter, Serena, who loves you very, very much. You guys were clowns together. Y'all had a lot of fun.
That pulpit chick, she has to get that up and out, because that is hilarious. The whole
Yeah.
pulpit chick thing is incredibly fun. And her positive words only, I love it. I love it.
Yes. Okay. Want to thank you so much for coming on. Continue to do the great work that you're doing, and you can get a lot of response from people that's watching this now. You have something special. You have greatness in you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Les, you're amazing. Thank you for always being the inspiration that you are, and I appreciate you.
Thank you, and I appreciate you. Bye for now.
Bye bye.